Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're tuning in today because we are going to completely reframe something you've probably dismissed as just, a nice luxury. I'm talking about wonder. In our crazy, relentless push for productivity, we usually forget to just look up. But today, we're diving into the hard science of why experiencing awe isn't just a warm and fuzzy feeling, it's an absolute biological necessity for your health and your mind.
So, think about this for a second. Is awe just a spiritual experience? Most of us are kind of conditioned to think of it as this elusive, almost mystical state, right? We assume it's an emotion strictly reserved for standing at the peak of Mount Everest or maybe being at some once-in-a-lifetime mind-blowing concert. We tend to view it as something incredibly rare and totally outside of our daily control. But is that actually true?
Well, modern neuroscience literally shatters that myth completely. Forget the idea that awe is just some rare mountaintop experience. The reality? Awe is a precise, highly actionable biological tool. It's a mechanism you can trigger deliberately to quiet down your nervous system. We are taking wonder right out of the spiritual realm and dropping it squarely into practical, everyday human biology.
Now here is a number that is a total game changer. 1. Just 1 minute. The research tells us that deliberately experiencing just 60 seconds of intentional wonder a day has profound, measurable physical effects. We're talking about concrete data showing that this single minute can significantly reduce symptoms of long COVID and even measurably lower physical pain in the elderly. I mean, just 60 seconds to completely shift your physical health.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the biology of wonder, your brain on awe, the awe walk protocol, space-time bridging, and finally shared awe and connection.
Let's jump right into part 1, the biology of wonder.
To truly get why awe is such a powerhouse, we have to look under the hood at the hard science of disease. You've probably heard of chronic inflammation. It's basically the silent driver of most modern illnesses. We're talking everything from heart disease to clinical depression. This isn't just some abstract concept. It's a severe, systemic threat to our everyday well-being and longevity. If we're talking about optimizing our lives, getting a handle on this silent driver absolutely has to be our top priority.
And this brings us to a super fascinating biological mechanism. See, chronic stress traps your body in this damaging, high-alert state. But when you experience awe, when you actually shift your perspective to something vastly larger than yourself, you trigger what's essentially an immune stand-down. The most wild biological discovery here is that awe is specifically linked to a drop in pro-inflammatory cytokines, specifically one called IL-6. So by simply shifting your perspective, you're literally telling your immune system, hey, it's okay to drop your guard.
All right, moving to part 2, your brain on awe. Let's look at the neurology.
So what is physically going on in our neural circuitry when we feel that amazing lift of wonder? Well, it all starts with the default mode network. This is the brain circuit responsible for self-referential thinking. You know that constant buzzing loop of me-centered rumination? Worrying about your to-do list, stressing over your social standing, replaying past mistakes over and over? That's the default mode network. The absolutely crucial point here is that when you encounter something vast that you don't immediately comprehend, this specific rumination network physically starts to quiet down. Awe quite literally silences your overactive ego.
And get this, at the exact same time your ego quiets down, you get a massive surge in vagal tone. This is the activation of your vagus nerve. If you've ever felt that literal physical warmth spreading in your chest, or noticed your heart rate calming down when you're watching a beautiful sunset or staring at an incredible painting, yeah, that is the actual biological machinery kicking in. Your brain is directly sending a signal to your body to just calm down and open up.
Okay, part 3, the awe walk protocol. Let's make this actionable. We know the theory now, but how do we actually use it? Well, it starts with how you physically look at the world. Staring down at your phone or hyper-focusing on that never-ending to-do list locks your vision into this narrow soda straw view. And that narrow view, it acts like a literal accelerator for your sympathetic nervous system. It keeps you stressed. But contrast that with looking out at a wide-angle horizon. Simply expanding your visual field triggers an immediate parasympathetic reset. It literally takes your biological foot off the stress gas pedal.
So here's how you can turn this into a daily habit. Go for a walk, leave the phone in your pocket, seriously, put it away for a bit, and try this. First, start super small. Focus on a micro detail, maybe the intricate veins on a single leaf or the rough texture of a stone. Next, deliberately widen your visual aperture to the macro. Take in the vastness of the entire tree. And finally, shift your gaze even further out to the vast horizon, like the clouds drifting across the sky. This deliberate, step-by-step, small-to-vast visual shift is exactly what triggers that deep nervous system reset.
And guys, the data backing this up is just incredible. Dedicating just a half hour, one single 30-minute walk once a week to this practice creates highly measurable physical and mental improvements. The studies show that people who do this report experiencing significantly less physical body pain, and they show markedly improved brain health over time. I mean, that is an absolutely amazing return on investment for doing nothing more than taking a walk and changing how you focus your eyes.
Which brings us to part 4, space-time bridging.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What if I'm stuck at my desk all day and can't get outside? Don't worry, there's a protocol for that too. It's a meditation that leverages that biological link between your eyes and your alertness. Here's the play. Step 1, close your eyes and focus inward on your breath for 3 slow, deep cycles. Step 2, open your eyes and focus sharply on your own hand. Step 3, push your focus out to a point maybe 10 feet away. And step 4, find the absolute furthest horizon possible, even if it's just out a window, and imagine yourself as a tiny point on a pale blue dot floating in the vastness of space. You're basically shifting between different apertures of time and space. It grounds you while keeping you tethered to the much, much larger picture.
And finally, part 5, shared awe and connection.
We also really need to expand this concept of awe outward into our social lives and our evolutionary history. We are deeply social creatures, completely wired for what researchers call collective effervescence. Think about witnessing an act of extreme kindness. That's known as moral beauty. Or think about the electric feeling of being part of a chanting crowd in a massive stadium. What about listening to a piece of music so moving it literally brings you to tears? Or just gathering around a crackling campfire to swap stories? These are incredibly ancient rituals, some dating back hundreds of thousands of years, that fundamentally dissolve our egos through shared emotional experiences.
And this is exactly why those ancient social rituals are so incredibly vital for our modern survival. When we share these powerful emotional experiences, our heart rates and our brain patterns literally synchronize with the people around us. It's like biological magic. This synchronization is actually the fastest biological pathway we have to wash away the stickiness of negative emotions. It literally prevents chronic stress from clinging to us and keeping us trapped in that damaging state of high alert.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative challenge. Will you stop being a dominant negative in your own life? We've just walked through the hard science together. We absolutely know now that wonder is a legitimate health protocol, not just some weekend luxury. So I urge you, try just one 30-minute awe walk this week. Actively move your focus from the small to the vast, and just observe the physical shift in your own stress levels and your physical pain. You literally have the biological architecture inside of you right now. It's time to actually use it. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and definitely keep exploring the incredible science of your own potential.